Hi, I'm your host Lucy, and this is my first podcast. This is The Lingering Ghost. This is going to be a true crime podcast where we talk about all these crimes and cases. So, if have you guys ever seen Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or The Silent Lambs? This case has actually inspired these movies greatly based on this criminal's behavior. We're going to be talking about the Butcher of Plainfields, known as Ed Gein. Disclaimer: this case will include disturbing topics such as necrophilia and decapitation. So if you can't handle these topics, please go take care of yourself and you can join us on the next session. So, his whole first name is Edward Theodore Gein. He was born on October 27, 1906 in Wisconsin. So his family consists of his father, George, who was an alcoholic, like raging alcoholic, and his mother, Augusta, who was this crazy, like religious mother. And she was really verbally abusive to everyone in the family. So he had an older brother by the name of Henry, and his mom really hated his father for drinking like crazy because she was just crazy religious. And now my special guest is also here today.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
So we're actually talking about the case of Ed Gein. Do you know the movie Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or The Silent of the Lambs?
I have, but they're on my to watch list, so I never got to watch them.
Me too. But apparently these cases were greatly inspired by his behavior, and so
all by the same guy.
Yeah, all by the same guy.
That's crazy.
So yeah, his mother was hella religious, so she would preach about like how every single woman except her was a whore. They were like instruments of the devil. They're all coming out for us.
And this is why I don't trust boy moms.
Oh yeah, it was not even that she was a boy mom. She was just
crazy.
She was just a little silly in the head, I guess you could say. And so the house was really ruled by Augusta's fist and hand, you know. And so George is the father. He wouldn't stand up against Augusta when he was not drunk, but when he was tipsy or drunk, all of a sudden he just threw the balls to start throwing hands, and in front of the kids, she would
courage.
Yeah, she would literally get on her hands and knees and pray to God to strike down her husband.
I shouldn't be laughing.
This isn't really funny, but it sounds so stupid, but it's she would do this in front of the kids. And so she would lock up the boys often in the house because she did not want the boys to have any friends or make friends at all, actually, and to protect them from all the wars outside in the world. But of course she's not a war, you know. And so she they would always after school, when they come home, they have to come right home from school, and they would do Bible studies, and she would just preach her beliefs drinking's a sin, this is a sin, if you're talking or look at a woman, you're a sinner. And she was very adamant about it. If she thought that the boys were going to sin, or if she thinks that they're even thinking about it, she would throw boiling water on them. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, she was really messed up in the head. And so they would get punished by Augusta often. And so Gein would always idolize his mother, no matter her getting her beating him or anything. While as Henry was yo, this is not okay. He actually realized at a young age, our mom should not be like this. But Ed was no, I really love my he was dedicated to his mother. Not it was believed that it was an incestuous relationship at first, but he did not. He was not like that. He just worshipped his mom. It was crazy.
Really?
And so he actually devoted himself to be a virgin, not for religious reasons. At a young age.
I'm so sorry.
At a young age, she was she would tell them how women are you cannot have sex. You're going to be a sinner if you do this, when she had 2 kids. Okay, like you're a little okay. And so he
Check
like,
yourself, girl.
like yeah, exactly. In like elementary or middle school, he just said, "I'm gonna be a virgin for the rest of my life, not for religious reasons, for his mother." That's how devoted he was, and he was a virgin until he died, and and so like they didn't really have a social life because like after school straight home, you know, but like at least Henry had some form of like a social life or tried to, compared to like Ed. He would like kids, what his classmates, what they would say was like he was really strange as a kid, but then again they found out like how, you know,
his mom was, and like their home life,
and like the crimes he's done. So like obviously we can't obviously go back in time and like be like, oh, he was just like weird, you know, because like they're gonna like villainize him, even though he did do a lot of bad things. Like they say he's strange because this was like back in like he was born in 1996. 1906.
So...
1906.
Okay, I was about to say 1990s are like, wow.
1906.
That was not that far along.
Yeah, 1906. So back then, like being like insane in the head was like
common.
Straight to the mental hospital. Like you're done. Hospital. Like while
the slight touch of tism, you're in the straitjacket.
Oh yeah, and now like nowadays it's like just go to therapy. If it's like really serious, you go to the white jacket. So
here's some antidepressants
and
like,
Xanax. So basically, he would like apparently laugh out loud out of nowhere as a kid, and then like kids would be like, "Why'd you laugh out loud like that during the middle class?" And he would be like, "Oh, my jokes are really funny in the head." I mean,
I feel like there's a better way to say that because I do that too.
Yeah,
but like at least I'm alone in my room. It doesn't make it better. Yeah. But like at least no one sees me or just like, oh, he couldn't say like, oh, I just thought something funny.
You know, but also it's not, I feel like it's not really that strange to be concerned about as a kid. I feel like it's more concerning that as a kid, he was like, I'm gonna be a virgin for the rest of my life.
Yeah, especially like as a kid, you
shouldn't
know what like being a virgin is.
Like it was the fact that his mom just continuously preached about this, like when they moved to the farm.
I don't get like why saying that like to a child though
is okay. Yeah, like he doesn't even know what's going on.
Bro doesn't know like his body parts, like his head and shoulders, knees and toes yet.
Oh, yeah. Like he's still learning his ABCs. And like as Ed, the whole family witnesses actually. The mother saw a woman that wasn't like the wife of their neighbor come out of their house or like a family, and she's like, "Look at that sinner." Goddamn.
See right there? That's a whore.
Oh yeah, she already said that, and they were like, they just believed her, and because like she, like I said, she genuinely believes she's like a saint, like only I can go to heaven, type B. You know what I mean? And so they later on. His father would die in 1940, right? So his mom has a grocery store, I believe. And so after her husband died, they weren't making enough to sustain themselves. So Ed and Henry had to go like do odd jobs. Like most of the time they were just handyman work. But the thing was, Ed really liked, for some reason,
chainsaw?
No. He really liked to actually babysitting kids, apparently, because I don't know how old he was when they were doing this. I believe, actually no, they should be like around in their 30s, because Ed was born, well, Ed should be in his 30s because he was born in 1906 and his father died in 1940. So
okay, yeah, so 30 sounds right.
Yeah, 30, 34-ish. And so basically Ed liked babysitting, and he said he relates to these kids a lot more than adults, and I'm like, shouldn't that be a red flag? But it's also the fact, since they don't really have a social life, people didn't think it was a really weird thing back then because they don't have anything bad against them. Like everyone just thought that they were nice dudes doing like candy work for like some extra cash. And so back then, they lived on a farm. Okay, so they have a lot of crops, and so it's common to like burn down some crops to like set in some new crops. So Henry and Ed were burning down some crops, and the fire got too big. And so the firefighters and police came over to put out the fire. But the thing was, Henry wasn't there for some reason, even though he was there with Ed burning down crops. So then as the firefighters were leaving, Ed was like, wait, I think my brother's dead. And they're like, what? And so Ed leads them back to Henry's body. And Henry was found far away from the field, like nowhere near where like all the fire was happening that they were burning, face down on the ground. Just no gunshot wounds, no stab wounds, nothing.
Not even like burn marks, nothing.
No, just dead. And it was later discovered that he had some blunt force trauma to the head.
That's what I was thinking.
But like they didn't do like a full autopsy. They just
I don't think it was common back then to do a full autopsy either.
It's not. So they just pronounced him dead. He was just dead. They never figure out why. They just said, oh, he probably like had like some
heart attack
attack or something. Yeah. They just didn't go through it. And just so a lot of people suspect that maybe Ed had something to do because Henry was very adamant at that time about like, hey, you need to get out that house. Like this, like our mom is not okay in the head. This is not good for you. You are 30-something. You need to get out of the house because I believe Henry at that time actually found like a girlfriend or something.
Oh.
Yeah. So then we just find him dead. And that's like kind of weird. And so Ed's mom later died 5 years later after Henry dies in 1945. And this causes Ed to go off the rails. Like he's already off the rails. And so this actually turns him into like a hermit, like locked himself inside. And so what he would do is he would actually like seal off the rooms his mom was in, like that she would go in often, like her bedroom. I believe she had a favorite sunroom, closed off. He never touched those rooms. Those are like shrines to him. And so basically throughout the rest of the house, it just became a mess. Like there was mold everywhere. There's dust. There's like just clutter, and like it just like
the average Esperanza Hall like dorm. It's just basically what it looks like.
Yeah, like bugs everywhere and everything. And so he later developed this strange fascination in anatomy books. Like he just had tons of those textbooks, and I was like, when I read that, I was
all like textbook serial killer, like. How to make your son a serial killer, like 101.
Did you know that there's like 3 things that like causes people to like become like a serial killer and stuff? One, if they had some from like head trauma or like went like unconscious as a child, because like that could like greatly like
affect the brain development.
And if you piss the bed often as a kid, or like I am so serious.
Chat, if you're a bedwetter, you're like you're on the second step close to becoming a serial killer.
Yeah, watch out. And the third one was if you like obviously killed or tortured animals at a young age.
Yeah,
like Jeffrey Dahmer, very common person.
That's a very common like.
But like I was actually really shocked when I heard bedwetter, because a lot of these like actual like serial killers and stuff, they wet the bed often, and it had something to do with like trauma, and like as you continuously wet the bed, you're like, why do I keep wetting the bed? Blah blah blah, and you just continuously like hit yourself over on wetting the bed. You don't know why, and like wetting the bed is actually caused by stress. And I just guess that stress like was so bad that
stress does affect like the brain to like a chemical level. So maybe like
our psychologists out there need to tell us about this.
Yeah, I'm not a psychologist. I just read a lot.
Oh yeah, me too. I am minoring in psychology, so like I'll know one day.
She got
one day. But like if we get a psychologist,
she can make you a serial killer if you want to.
I rub my hands together and fly. And so basically, during this stage, like during this like time period where his mom died and he was just going down this loophole, several people in Plainfields started going missing. So this is Plainfield, Wisconsin is where they are. And like they started going missing. And I don't know like how missing reports work back then, because even now, if you report someone missing, most of the time, if it's not like if the police don't look at it as a serious case, like, oh my god, this missing person is going to die. If it's just like, let's say
they think they ran away, or like they're gonna come back.
Yeah. And like back then, I'm pretty sure it's probably worse, because like, kids run away all the time these days. You know what I mean? But these were actual adults, and like even people now would be like, oh, she ran away because she probably did something wrong. You know? And so despite all this, he still managed to be like a handyman and like a babysitter at the same time during all this stuff, but not as much as before. He was still like a hermit at home. And so later on, there was a missing report of this woman. Her name is Mary Hogan, I believe, and she ran a tavern near the Pine Grove, and Gein was frequently near the area. And she was 54 years old, and she disappeared the same year that his mom died, December 1954. And then 3 years later, November 16, 1957, Bernice, she was 58 years old, was reported missing from her hardware store. And so the cash register was gone. The whole thing. Not even like just the cash. The register.
Even the coins, the pennies.
Not even just the coins and pennies. The whole register itself gone. And there was a trail of blood leading towards the back. And so Gein was actually the last one seen to be with her shortly before she disappeared. And her son, Frank, a deputy sheriff. So that's probably why they were more focused on
finding for her.
Yeah, because
like, it's a family member.
Yeah, this is my mom. I gotta find her. And so he was actually suspicious of Ed. And he soon was actually arrested at a neighbor's house. And so law enforcement come over to visit his farm, and they would find Bernice's headless body, gutted from the inside out, hanging from the ceiling. And her head was found in a sack, and her heart was hanging in a plastic bag. Like, just open the door and they see that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to get to the part where actually one of the movie characters, Leatherface, is heavily inspired by him. And so they examined his house, and they just found like just clutter. It was like a mess everywhere except the rooms that were like
closed off.
Yeah, closed off.
By his mom.
Like, it was just like those rooms. I believe they were collecting dust because he refuses to step in those rooms. But they were just left in like the same condition as she died. And and so it was found out that he robbed graves. So when robbing graves, like a lot of people back then actually robbed graves for like money. Like,
you're robbing them. Yeah, and like usually like,
or like they would rob bodies for like actually like doing like autopsies and stuff and practicing medical things back then. Like, I don't even know if they still do it now, but like back then they'll like sell the bodies.
Pretty sure. I mean, like, come on.
Don't come after me. I didn't.
Not me though. I'm good. Like,
yeah.
I don't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and so like they would just like dig up the graves and be like, hey, they would go to the hospital like, hey, so $1 million for this for a body to do medical practice on, because like it was just getting like
But like, how can you practice on like trying to save a life if like the thing you're practicing on is dead?
I don't know. Or like to analyze the human body, because like some people's brains actually look different. Like maybe this one has more wrinkles, maybe stuff like that. It's just weird. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. And so when law enforcement went into their house, they saw that when he collected these body parts, he would skin them alive and make them into household items, clothing, and masks. So that's where we get the Leatherface dude from, because I think his mask was like made of human skin. Yeah. And so he would they found like organs in jars, human skin as like leather for a chair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It gets even.
Bro was versatile. He was a master of his craft.
He was just trying to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, like, at least he didn't like use cows, or like at least PETA is off his back.
Oh yeah. So he obviously made skin masks and skin suits. He also made lampshades with skin. I mean, I don't know how that works. Does it even?
I don't know. Just stretch the skin out.
Yeah, but
not that I've done it before.
Yeah. But I think it looks a little bit freaky. He would use skulls as soup bowls. I don't even know how that would work.
Okay, that's terrible. But that's like sick if you're a villain. If you're a hardcore villain and like you're drinking soup out of your like enemy skull.
That would be like some crazy like movie moment. So he also would, oh my god, this sounds funny, like these two things, but they're not. He has a nipple belt, like a belt a belt made from human nipples. Keep in mind, most of these people were dead. Like only 2 women were killed.
But like, is it like a mixture of women and men nipples? Because those come in different sizes.
She only goes after for woman graves. Yeah. And so actually, Mary, her headless body was like, no, they didn't find her body. They just found her head, just like there. Yeah. So that's kind of freaky. He also had a box of vaginas.
Just how?
I don't know.
Wait, how?
I guess he just like snipped it off women and just put it in a box.
And like their uterus? Just a box of uteruses? Or like their actual
vaginas?
Yeah. You're nodding to me just like, yep, it's vaginas. And I'm just like,
because he would make a skin suit of his mom. And he would,
if it died. It couldn't have gotten more creepier.
Yeah, so that's why he specifically killed these 2 women, because they looked like his mom. And same, he would go for graves of like women that were like a similar age to his mom, and he would skin it alive, make that suit, and he would wear it. And I guess he would choose a vagina of the day and frolic in
the
fields.
That's crazy, vagina of the day. That's insane.
Like this one.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah, and it was believed that he also performed necrophilia on these bodies too. It was believed, but I don't know if it's true or not. Because like we said, he
how
was
much
like,
more do we want this guy messed up to be?
Yeah, or also like he did say I'm a saint, I'm a virgin, I would never do it.
That is true.
He would not. That is true. That's why it's alleged. And so he was brought into questioning. He was 51 years old when they arrested him, right? And so
Talk about midlife crisis.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So he confessed to killing the 2 women 3 years earlier. He shot both women, and they resembled his late mom. This is why I'm a bit confused, because these women were alive. Why would you kill them if they look like your mom? Like they look like them. Are they his mom? No. So like that's why I'm a little bit confused. So
I can kind of see why you're confused, but like then again, how are you going to rationalize crazy?
And so Gein obviously admitted to like killing them, but he pled not guilty due to the reason of insanity. Yeah. And so here's the thing about pleading guilty about insanity. It's because it's really hard to plead insanity, like have an insanity plead, because that means you have to be incompetent to stand trial. But honestly, I feel like he was competent to stand trial, because like you obviously were aware that you killed these people. You told us why you killed these people. So they just sent him to the mental hospital. I believe the hospital's name was Central State Hospital. And the reason why he was found unfit to stand trial was because he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Like I personally knew somebody that had schizophrenia, and I mean there's like different types, but like obviously they were competent to like talk to me and like have a normal quotation marks normal life. So schizophrenia, defined by Mayo Clinic, is a serious mental health condition that affects how people think, feel, and behave. So it like, the common ones, like there's a little bit hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking and behavior. Hallucinations can involve seeing things or hearing voices that aren't observed by others. And I don't know how bad his schizophrenia was, but I feel like he should be able to like, because he admitted that, hey, I did kill these women, and so
I have a theory. Do you think like he saw his mom like as like one of his like visions, or like
told them to kill the woman?
Yeah, because just like she's a sinner. She's a sinner right there, because like the association of like someone that like, hey, that's my mom, and then like and then she told like every other woman that's not her. That, like, you should. So maybe like it was that little voice in his head of just reminding him.
and like, oh my god, you look like my mom, but you're not my mom.
Yeah, you're not my mom.
You're like you're a skinwalker or something like that. Oh my god, I didn't even think of it like that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I just solved this case, bro.
She didn't even see the script. I was like, you had like all these things to do. I was just sitting there looking pretty in the corner.
Yeah.
So in court, he later on was deemed fit for trial, right? And so he stand court. And so he was found guilty, obviously killing the two women, but I think her name was not Mary. It was not Mary. It was Bernice. The one where he stole the entire cash register. Yeah. Apparently, he killed her due to financial reasons, and he was only trialed for that murder. The other one, he wasn't. And I don't know, like I don't know if there's like sentencing for like grave robbers, because like he didn't. I don't even think he really robbed them. He just took their body and
he thought it was just okay for him to steal it. Like he didn't think it was a crime, probably.
Because like I know like there's actually in China, they grave rob a little differently.
Yeah, it was different, right?
Yeah, because they mainly rob like the graves of emperors, because like they're more richer, and like the emperor's like tomb, it's like similar to like Egyptian tombs. Like they have a lot of booby traps and stuff like that. But when you get to their like the area where they're resting, so much like historic artifacts, and like if you got a spoon from like one of those like tombs, it's like it just costs so much. It's like crazy amount of money. I hope they get cursed though. Oh my gosh. Remember that incident of like there was like this
you better step off of China, bro.
Oh yeah. And like same with sarcophagus. You're not supposed to open them most of the time. You could get cursed, and somebody opens a sarcophagus, and I think something happened to them. Or like some like people are like, oh my god, I feel the bad luck coming in.
Low key, like
I don't know why they do this. Like I get it, it's in the name of research, but leave it alone.
Yeah,
that's somebody's dead body.
That's true. Because again, with science, like they don't really believe in like curses and all that, because they believe in the logicness of it. They don't really believe in like the mystical aspect, which is why they think nothing wrong will happen to them. But like I don't know, if you tell me not to fuck with it, like if like I'm not gonna fuck with it.
Oh yeah, because like I feel I don't understand how like that's why if I was in a horror movie, I don't believe I'm going to survive, but I believe I won't do something too stupid. Because, like, tell me why you're going straight for the killer. If I bonk them on the head hard enough, I might be able to escape. Girl, no.
Girl, no.
Oh, there's, like, this, like, lock of hair on the floor. Let me grab. Put that down. Don't walk away.
Like, literally, just like, whoa, what's that noise? Let's go check it out. Oh, fuck you mean check it out? I'm leaving.
They won't even bring something to defend themselves.
Right. Like, low-key, I was just like, I'm gonna at least, like, bring a gun or something. Or, like, just something to stab, to, like, cause damage enough for me to, like, get away.
Especially when I'm walking around campus sometimes. Like, I literally be holding out that pepper spray because I heard, like, people get, like, hit by hogs or, like, they hear wolf. I heard a wolf howling when I was walking. I was like, oh, that's time for me to go back to my dorms.
My bad. That was me.
Oh, shoot. That was your alpha Sigma moment.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. got a little too freaky.
All right. Back on topic, though. After he was tried, he returned back to the mental hospital where he remained until he died due to lung cancer at 77.
Lung cancer?
Yeah. And here's something.
I was smoking that six-pack like every single day.
I don't know. I don't think he would smoke either because that's
also a sin.
Yeah. His mom would probably kill him for it. Boil the water. It's over. So he was buried at a country cemetery near Plainfields, and it's kind of funny that his tomb, his gravestone, actually became a tourist attraction. And so what people would do, they would like chip a little bit of his gravestone and like take it with them as a souvenir. I'm like,
you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You're gonna get haunted, and then like your skin's gonna fall off.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. And so actually on June 2000 of June, his entire gravestone was robbed. Like, it was just stolen. And so it was found a year later, and it was placed in storage. So now his grave is just unmarked.
That's good.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve to be marked.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I can see the insanity plea being like he's a little insane in the membrane, but it's just like, oh my gosh. He actually was he was actually his mom's kind of quotation marks dream child. So back then, like, you know how like women are supposed to be like quiet don't talk to me. Make my dinner. Be a good, cute little petite innocent girl. That's what she wanted out of a boy for some reason. She wanted him
Maybe
to
she
be
was
like,
onto something.
Yeah. She wanted him to be like quiet, always listening, and like innocent. But I guess he just I don't know, like what would cause the trauma? What would be the trauma to cause him to be like this devoted to his mother? Like,
could be Stockholm syndrome. It could. That's what I was thinking this whole time. Just like, I don't really
always
know.
Around his mom.
He is always around his mom, and then like I'm pretty sure the isolation didn't really help from like to keep idolizing him from her. So,
because there are some cases of like this Stockholm syndrome where like there's this girl, her head was locked in a box. Like that's how they tortured her, and they would sexually assault her. Mainly the husband often, because he had these crazy kinks, and his wife's like, I can't handle these kinks. You can get a sex worker, and we can keep her in a basement. And that's what they did. They actually kidnapped this girl, and so it got so bad to a point where like they just continuously locked her in a box, and they would continuously put little like notes in the box. It's like a huge, heavy like box. Like she had
like on her head.
Yeah, and her neck would her head would be on the floor or something because like she can't lift up her head. It's too heavy. And it would have inside. It would be like, if you like tell somebody, we'll do this to your family. Blah blah blah. So when they allowed her to go outside to work, she would never run away because she was like so like manipulated into the fact like, I can't run away. She even met her parents as well, and she didn't even run away back home. She was just stuck with them as a sex worker until like obviously this case was like, like broke apart in court. Yeah, it was like it's insane. So yeah, speaking of like silly cases, if you guys ever have like a case you want to talk about, let us know.
Hit her up.
Yeah, hit me up. I love talking about true crime. It's just like it's so interesting to go into like the psychological aspect because like I don't get it. Like Henry didn't turn out a bad person or he didn't do any of these things. It was only Ed. Like he was the only one that like turned out. It's like that stereotype of like there's the orchid. Oh my god, orchid child.
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry guys, I can't speak. I say English is not my first language when it is.
Yeah, me for real.
Actually, Vietnamese is my first language. Oh my god, it's worse. So and then there's the dandelion child, and so the dandelion child, like how dandelions like they grow everywhere. Like you can never get rid of them, so they always come out as the stronger child compared to the orchid child that they're very like sustainable to like dying really easily. You got helicopter.
Work.
Yeah, you got a helicopter greenhouse.
Something about Asian mothers and like their orchids, bro.
Oh yeah, it's tough. So yeah, if you have any like crimes and cases you want to recommend, let us know. You can shoot up their Instagram. Maybe we should like make a Google Doc or something.
Yeah, that sounds
about
good.
like hey, like put in like what case you want to put in,
or like a Google form,
and we'll look into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's a lot for today. First podcast, we already went deep. I feel like it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Right. It was nice talking about it. So. Now I have to kind of watch the movie.
Oh yeah, I
like you recommended because I'm like, okay, so like
you want to see
which part that this inspired?
Oh yeah,
this.
And I had a lot of fun like doing the research about these as well because like you just go in a rabbit hole of like doing looking up everything. Like, hey, this like this person said this, but this happened. And then like sometimes I can't find the court documents, so I can't like actually see what
the fact you actually have the court documents is crazy.
I do have a court document on this one case I wanted to do originally, but like I respected
future episode.
Yeah, I respected like what you were
uncomfortable when
with.
I said sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it, girl. Like everyone like feels uncomfortable with something, so like that's for next time. Whenever I have somebody that's okay with it. I already have the court documents memorized in my head. I'm telling you, I don't even have to look over at my screen to like double check all like the script notes because this is hard to like memorize. Like I'm actually
I'm actually pretty like you, dude. You can't see it, but like bro wrote like pages.
Yeah,
of this shit.
It's crazy, and so this podcast is actually heavily inspired by somebody named Stephanie Sue, a Rotten Mango. I love my girl. And like now I think about it, it is crazy hard to remember every single detail of this case. She gets deep in it. So that's the first episode of Lingering Ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, I love the name.
Yeah.
That's good.
I worked hard to figure out this name. I did it with a couple friends.
Really good.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, yeah, we tune in like every Wednesday around 12 to 1 as well. So if you want to listen to our next case, we'll be there next week.
And if you want to hear my voice or some cool music, you could check in on my time from 3 to 4 on Vibin' with B. And yeah, sorry, shameless plug.
No, plug it in. I don't care. I literally just shamelessly plugged in like a podcast I really enjoy and is heavily inspired by. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
See you guys next time.
Why not wave?